Wakey, wakey. See if I get the stream rolling here. Yeah. So we're live this morning on Zwift for the first solo TV step-up ride. If you're joining me here on Zwift, about 50 of you are, which is great. You can also watch me here live on the feed. I do have my chat open, so if you are on the live feed and have a question, I can't text you back, but I can chat with you, verbally as best I can while we're progressing through the ride here. I'm going to start getting warmed up in the warm-up area. Good to have you here. I'll be back in a second. They gave me the ugly kid. You guys are on the live feed. Audio okay? Hopefully it is. I ain't changing it. Nice. About 50 people so far. Should be great. If you're in solo TV right now, live streaming, you could click on the link and it should bring you to the watch page for my unlisted for the feed. So if you want to use the chat, I'll eventually be bringing the chat over to solo TV as well. So it's a bit of a coding issue to get it to work right inside a bubble. So bear with me. You'll be able to eventually chat me live. Now, if you are not a member of Zwift and not on the ride with all of us today, no problem. Either just watch us ride, but you can also just jump on your trainer, and I will be calling out audio cueing for the ride. It's a step ride. Well, I'm going to get to you in a second, just Max. It's a step ride, so every lap we're going to do, which is going to be about, I'd speculate between 13 and 18 minutes a lap, depending on how fast we're going. We're going to progress from 2.5 watts per kilo, and then every lap we're going to add 0.25 watts. So each lap it gets progressively harder until lap 5, we're going to get to 3.5, and basically you can cut loose, go as hard as you want, like a mini race. I prefer us all to stay together, but I don't want to hold people back if they want to put in a hard effort at the end. All right. I tell you, trying to text chat and do one of these things is not easy. I got to find a better solution on the iPad. So once I start sweating, that's game over. Max, how long of a ride should I wait to have a bar or snack? Depends on the ride, depends on the goal of the ride. Like today, I won't have any incoming calories at all. This will be about 75 minutes. So, and it's progressive, and it's off season, so I don't need a lot during these sorts of rides. If you're doing a high intensity session, probably eating a small dose of a high sugar intake right before the HIIT session wouldn't be a bad idea. For endurance rides, it gets much more complicated than that. Again, it depends on the individual, how far you're going, and what intensity you're going at. Typically, for endurance rides, I'm eating small doses of some kind of mixture. I don't use a lot of gels. I do use the EFS product. It's kind of like a gel. It's a little more concentrated than a gel. I'm eating maybe every 20 or 30 minutes. You got to find out what works for you, though. Nice. Get some groundswell here. Some of you might be watching live and in the ride, which is cool. Which is what I'm doing right now. It's nice to finally have a beacon. I've done a couple of these rides already as a group leader. Without the beacon, it kind of makes it tough. So to get the beacon, that big gold stupid thing over my head, you have to be on the official Zwift calendar, which is not easy either. It took me a little while to get on here, but I'm pumped to be here because this way you get the starting gate where everyone can warm up together. You're not lost trying to figure out where everyone is. It's nice. Nice. Yeah, some people are just coming in to do watch. So cool thing with Zwift too is you can, if you're not interested in the ride, or you can't be if you're going to work, or don't be doing this while you're on your way to work, but you can just watch. So you could be watching me the whole ride if you wanted to. And I'll be honest, there's a lot you can pick up by watching some other riders or groups without actually being in the event. Watching some of the races maybe, watching watts per kilo on climbs, techniques for rolling over hills. A lot of things you can learn just by watching others. I spend a lot of time doing research on here. Nice, we're gonna get about 50 people I think, which is great. I had a goal of 30, so makes me happy. So welcome everyone. You're watching me on the live feed. It's going to be kind of strange because I'm going to be talking to you, the live feed, and texting to the actual riders with me here on Zwift for the Solo TV Step Up Training. Today's not a race, but it is a progressively harder ride. This kind of ride is deceptive. It starts out pretty easy, but once it begins to build, it gets hard. I did a pretty tough 100K yesterday. Which probably wasn't the smartest thing, but that's what I had on my training agenda. So about a minute to go, about 50 people. Stoked. Let's see if I can keep everyone together. It's nice to not have it as a race. The races come out of the gates like bats out of hell. So we're going to be coming out of here slow and controlled and then easing up to 2.5. All right, baby, let's get live. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a weekly one just yet. They've given me permission to. I'm trying to figure out my time zones to try to satisfy the variety of people I have all over the world. That's the tough part. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Again, the cool thing with this ride is everyone, if they read the directions, knows the format in advance. And it's my job to stay to that format. It's easy to let your group dissipate as the front people charge off the front, the back people pull off the back. You're left all alone in the middle. So, I work really hard to stay within my range. Right now, 2.5 watts per kilo for the first lap. This is going to be tricky because on Richmond, there's some punchy climbs in here. And a lot of riders will go out too quick and have to wait or just keep going. Nice. Now, if you're watching on a live feed, you could also, if you're on Trainer Road, you could open up Free Ride. I'd open like Free Ride 90. Just a 90-minute open file. There's no power profile. Open up me, really big. Put your Trainer Road monitor, if you will, below, and you can do the ride with me. And I'm guiding you through the ride. So right now, we're at about 2.5 watts per kilo. That might be tougher to do, I guess, with Trainer Road. They don't, I need to go up here and sit in the front. There we go. Keep everyone honest. Trainer Road uses most of your threshold as your tattletale on what you're doing. That's based on your wattage and your FTP. Zwift has the added benefit of seeing your watts per kilo and other riders' watts per kilo. Yeah, if you're seeing a delay in your video feed, you're going to. It's never going to be one-to-one on what you're doing here in Zwift and the video feed. So if you're in Zwift, just be watching Zwift. Don't be watching the live audio feed or the live video feed. That's going to make things confusing. Just have your Zwift window open. Watch the live feed after. The live feed is more for people that are not in Zwift that want to ride with us in their own way. I don't know which monitor to stare at. Got like 4 monitors open. Okay, I need to stick to plan here. You know, when it comes to a live feed, especially doing what we're doing here in something like Zwift, you want to stick just to the live feed. I mean, just to the Zwift platform. You know, when Richmond hits these small punchy hills, watch what will happen. It'll splinter. Because what people will do is they'll ramp up the hill, explode their watts per kilo, go from 2.5 to 3, 3.2, 3.4, and then have to bring it all the way down to like 0.5 and wait. So if you're one of those riders, and trust me, I've been that rider many times, try to do your best to flatten the course. That means that regardless of terrain, you're shifting gears and changing cadence to maintain that wattage per kilo, that effort. Wish there was an easier way to give people ride-ons. I guess with my iPad it's a little clunky, but this isn't really designed for iPad. I've got the one for the iPhone on my iPad. I didn't have one for my iPad. Maybe my iPad's too old. I got a normal tire. I'm on a Kurt Kinetic with a power meter, which actually is fine. The difference is that the computer isn't controlling the resistance as the topography changes here, which has some advantages and some disadvantages. Disadvantages are makes it more boring, not as lively. Advantages are you can really stick your power well, consistently. Now what I try to do is augment gear and cadence based on the actual terrain. So the computer's not doing it for me. I'm doing it with experience and know-how of what a 5% gradient feels like. The difference will be is how much I shift. On a smart trainer, you're shifting all the time. On a dumb trainer, you know, I can stay on this gear and just simply change my tension and cadence to change the output. See, everyone's getting a little bit antsy here with the hill coming. See how everyone starts to speed up? Hold your watts, hold your energy, and get ready to shift. Use your gearing to flatten the course. 2.5 is the envelope right now. See? You know, I debated about whether or not to use the flat course, which a lot of group riders, group leaders will do for this reason. They don't want their group splintering. The reason I purposely chose not to do that is that I don't just want this to be a workout. I want people to work on effort control. Because right now, if you're throwing out 3 watts per kilo, you're going to pay for that in 2 laps. You are. I don't care how strong you are. You get every ounce of energy you're spending outside the given envelope per lap, you'll have to pay back. My group's not doing too bad, actually. There's a couple people up the road, but my goal as leader is not to chase. Yeah. Well, all of us do it. I've been doing it my whole life. Ask anyone that rode group rides with me for years. I'm that rider friggin' pounding the base of that hill, waiting at the top. Turns into basically an interval ride. What we're looking for here is a gradual step up in progression every designated time frame. And here it's going to be about what, 15 minutes give or take, and each lap will get faster. Try to rig people in here. Stay on target. Again, I think for some people with the smart trainers, I'll be honest with you, you have your settings all the way up to 100%. It takes more and more experience to flatten the course. Because at 100%, on any smart trainer, these little popper hills will force you into that small ring, force you into natural gearing, which is good. But a lot of people tend to go from like 180 watts to 400 watts. Boom. So what I would suggest, you don't have to do it, is turn down your resistance just a little bit. Maybe down to 80%, maybe down to 60. That way you're getting some feedback from the course, but you're also the one initiating the power. You're kind of balancing those two bookends out. I really like the group to stay more together here. I'm going to try to get everyone to ease back just a little. And again, this is just group riding. As group leader, you got to sometimes not get lured in. I was on a group ride the other day, and the group leader allowed people on the front to really pull him or her off their designated plan. And what it did is it splintered the group so bad, no one could stay together. Now granted, starting at 2.5 watts per kilo, for some people, can be already pretty tough. So if you're like a C or D level rider or just getting started, 2.5 watts per kilo is not a bad output. We're starting there. So remember, each ride has unique things that will be of benefit, and maybe just not the right ride for you. And I'm going to try to. So I'm going to ease back just a little, let that smaller group behind catch. This is just lap 1. So far I've been doing pretty good with sticking a plan. Now, for the descent, I'm going to back off 2 watts per kilo. Let the natural gravity bring you down. And obviously it's digital gravity. Tips for staying motivated. You got to find out what stirs up your heart with where you're headed on your bike. If you're just doing it to stay fit, build power, probably not going to get very far. You want to have something more than just numbers. And that's where something like Zwift or Trainer Road is part of the equation, but it's not helping you ride your soul. I do these things to stay strong and active so I can go out and do the types of rides that really challenge who I am as a person. But if I was only doing things like this ongoing, I wouldn't do it. Because, although it's nice to stay strong and fit, it doesn't keep me very engaged. So it's got to be a balance of both ends. I'm going to try to let the group reform. There we go. So, if I back off, then the group will start to slow down. It still has some riders off the front, which you can't control. Nothing I can do about that. They're actually doing okay. But because everyone ramped up on those first two little hills, it kind of splinters the group again. It's no one's real fault. That's just group riding, man. This is what groups have been contending with in the real world for a long time. Now we've just digitized it. The same problems still manifest themselves, just like they did before. So my goal right now isn't to satisfy the front. My goal is to be the beacon for the middle. Let everyone come to me. If I stay to plan, I've done exactly what I said I was going to do. Now, as we cross the finish line here, we go up to 2.75. Which I bet you on this first lap, average, we were probably pretty close to 275 already. Yeah, staying within a 0.25 margin takes some experience. It's not as easy as people think to stay in really tight margins as far as output goes. It's so tempting to rev up this hill right now. But you're trying to purposely hold back so you can move into the next lap. I'm purposely staying a little bit lower than target to let the rear end catch up before we move into the next lap here. Otherwise, I want to be here to hone on. Make sure you drink. Tell you what, trying to type in watts/kilogram sucks. Gotta go to like 3 different screens to do it. Gotta be a better way. Now what I'll do here, at 91 RPM, I will gear down 1. Maybe not yet. I'm still in the small ring. Again, that's where a dumb trainer is dumbed. Smart trainer is going to be adding changes in gradient. Dumb trainer, you can augment much more on cadence. Remember, power is power. 200 watts on a smart trainer is still 200 watts on a dumb trainer. How you achieve that 200 watts could be quite a bit different. All right, so we're going into lap 2. We're going to slowly rise. Actually, not too bad with the group we've got. Step-up rides are tough. So far, I've stayed on target. Stay on target. Now, what you could do, I guess you could set this up in erg mode. But I don't know if you can change your power curve from 2.5 to 2.75 to 3 on the fly. So if you know if you can, let me know. I actually have a smart trainer coming in next week. I'll be keeping you abreast of that. I've been on this Kurt Kinetic for so long. So again, I'm not using Z-Power. I'm using Stage's power meter. So my output is accurate. Z-Power with the speed and cadence, it's a great way to start. But it has some issues with reliability and accuracy. And you can see the group wanting to heat up. It's tough to hold yourself back. What they forget, there's 5 laps. Only the beginning of lap 1, or lap 2. It builds. What was once easy for some, at say 3.5 watts per kilo for 15 minutes, now becomes tough. You've already been riding for 60 minutes. Make sense? Not the same. Actually, I think the group's doing really well. Really. We've lost some people, but that's just group riding. As long as you stick to plan, you're doing okay. Can't please everyone all the time. And I will be having other types of rides on here. So if some of these outages, power outputs, are too much for you, don't worry. We will have other rides. In fact, I had a social ride last Friday, and the whole ride was 2.5. The whole ride. It's a good ride. I'm going to try to get a front before the hills and try to guide the group up. Maybe that'll do better. I'd be giving more ride-ons right now, but I gotta focus on being group leader here. If you're joining me on the live feed, as intensity begins to build here, I'll be talking less. We're planning to finish between 3.5 and 4, which again, it's not blazing hard, but after 60 minutes, it's different. And after 100K yesterday, on here, it'll be much different. Feel good though. So it's near impossible for anyone right now to stick exactly 2.75 watts per kilo. So you're going to be fluctuating between probably 2.5 and 2.8, 2.9. And that creates your range. And that range is what you're trying to stick within. If you're smart here, you're not off the front, you're in the middle. Because you can hold a lower watts per kilo with drafting and be saving it towards the last lap, which is what I wish I could do right now. But again, my goal is to output the plan. We'll see if this technique works here better. I'll come into the hill. Going a little too fast. See? That's my mistake. It's interesting how one rider can have such a cascading effect on so many others within a group dynamic. One begins to accelerate, then the next one, then everyone's accelerating. See, I'm a little high. It's only because I'm trying to get to that hill first before the group and then sit on them to keep them in control. Not to be an asshole, it's just to do my job. So I'm going to go a little bit above at 2.8, 2.9. As we hit the hill, I'm going to try to let my beacon slow everybody down right now. Let's see if it works. Much better. Much better. See all those orange or yellow jerseys rather? I hate that jersey, by the way. Ugh. That's not the one I asked for, but that's okay. We're really bright. You can't miss us. I got a crowd of pissed off bees. Stay in control. Not too bad. 3-2, so I need to back it down. I'll say this is much harder on a smart trainer because you're going to get a natural wallowing effect on the gradient. So you have to be on top of your gear shifting much quicker than I would on a dumb trainer. I can just flatten the hill, no problem. Smart trainer with gradient effects, you've got to be on your game with shifting, just like you would be in the real world. Doing all right. In fact, really impressed. I should let them know that. Cheers. It's one of the nice things about Zwift is you can change your clothes, drink coffee, beer, whatever you want. You can't do that in the real world, right? You can text, you can look up in the sky, have your wife yell at you for being on frickin' Zwift again. If you're on the live video feed, welcome. You can hop on your trainer and go along with us if you want. We're doing each lap progressively. Right now we're at about 2.75 watts per kilo. Next lap we'll go to 3. And things start to get interesting at 3. I'm gonna ease back, let the group behind catch, and then reacquire. So it's easy by yourself, or easier, to try to keep the power the same for uphills, flats, and downhills when you're alone. In a group, to keep the group congealed and together, you have to allow for some more play in the numbers. See how that just brought everyone back? We'll bring everyone back. But if I'm trying to stick 275 this whole descent, anyone that lost the draft before the hill is going to have a much tougher time catching. Obviously, if you've ever been caught out in no man's land trying to catch a group, it's not fun. So we'll see how we do. Everyone's staying within margins. It looks good to me. Nicely done. If you're on the live feed for video, again, we're in Zwift right now, about 50 riders for the group. Kind of scattered. That's expected, especially with a hillier course. If you want to, hop on your trainer, just ride along with me. Right now about 90 RPM. I'm hovering about 140 beats a minute. It's about right. Maybe a little high. We did 100K in here yesterday, so that fatigue will raise my heart rate a little bit higher today at the same intensity, same output. That's hill 2. Moving on to hill 3. If you're not on Zwift, but maybe on Trainer Road, open up your Trainer Road like 360 or 390. It's just a blank canvas. Lay it horizontal and ride along with us. That way it still feels like you're in Zwift, but you're using Trainer Road as your application. There's no power profile. Right now you're sticking at 2.5 to 2.75. I'm going to try to buffer the group down a little bit here, slow them up. It's going to fall below target, but that's going to cause some ground swell. We just came off a descent. That allows other riders to use gravity and a slightly higher power to catch if they choose. If I step on the gas right now, even up to just 2.75 for target, a lot of riders will get blown out the back, especially with a third climb coming. And let the group catch into the hill. And this is where riding as a group leader is a little bit different than riding as a regular rider, because you have to make choices to benefit the group as a whole, as opposed to yourself or just individual riders. So some people might not like it because they want you to be up front with them or off the back with them. All you can do is stick to your promises. That's all anyone can do in anything, I guess, right? So 2.75, right on target. Very well done. See how the group staying together more? So we hit the next lap, and we hit 3 watts per kilo. It'll begin to splinter some more. That's inevitable. And don't feel bad if you are on right now or watching the live feed and struggling at the effort. Keep working. Train smart. Use different things than just getting on and just riding. Today's a good example of focus structure. The goal is to challenge fatigue. So as each lap comes, we're more fatigued, but we're on the last lap. And we increase intensity. So the fatigue builds much quicker, which is what we want. Yeah, be able to cobblestone. You can do the Max, the Tax Neo for $1,600, and that has road shatter effect for cobbles and ice and rocks and everything. I've heard mixed things about it. Not that it's not probably realistic. Just, I think for most of us, being on an indoor trainer is unnatural to begin with. It's already uncomfortable. I don't know if I want to make it more uncomfortable on purpose. I guess if you were headed for, Paris-Roubaix or the Flanders Sportif, and you knew you were going to be riding cobbles for, 10 plus hours, then I could see where it would have benefit. Again, to each his own. It would not be something I would be paying extra money for, personally. But then again, I haven't used it, so maybe I'd love getting my balls chopped. I don't know. All right. a group catch. All right, so there's the finishing banner. I'm going to now move up to my big ring, drop my cadence just a little bit to compensate. And now I'll sit on the group and try to let the group behind catch. I'd like some more ground slow in here. Again, this is the tough thing with a step ride, is that if you put out energy too quickly in one of the laps, you have to pay for it later. And right now, some people might be paying for it. What I will do is ease up just a smidge below 3 and try to let the group, there you go, congeal around the beacon. There we are. So right now range is between 2.8 and 3.1. Remember, my wattage there, my absolute watts, doesn't help me with a group ride. My margins for watts per kilo is much more important, especially on Zwift. Again, in the real world, you wouldn't have this data of how many watts per kilo your fellow riders are putting out as you're riding. Trust me, if you could, group rides would be golden. Out in the real world, you have to use feel, experience, other riders. And this is where the shortcomings of something like this are. Is it'll never be like the real world, ever. But you can use it as a tool to practice certain things to get better in the real world. And this one is one of them. It's staying within your margins, not getting excited. If you are doing a live feed with me now, what I like to do is if my heart rate starts to drift too high, I make the gear slightly harder and RPM down, 5, maybe 8 RPM. Might sound counterintuitive, but it should bring your respiration rate and heart rate back under control at the same wattage. Now that's all well and good if your muscular endurance in your core, back, and hips is high. If that's low, then that technique will have a reverse effect and cause you to basically fatigue too quickly in your muscles. And then you're left in the same spot, not able to hold the output. Moving along here at 30 plus miles an hour as a group. Actually, I'm pretty impressed with the size of everyone still together. Need to let them know that. Now at 3 watts per kilo, you'll start to see some riders be able to lose pace. And that's what a step-up ride is for. So remember, don't get caught in the illusion that if you can't hold pace, that you fail. Many times, this is a good example, you will fail. But by reaching for the pace, trying to hang with that pace as long as you can, before you fail, so it makes you stronger. Too many people give up too quick. Use the group. The goal right now, the secret, is not to be me. See me at the front controlling the group? The secret is to be 5 riders behind me. And instead of throwing out 3 watts per kilo, you're only having to throw out 2.5 to stay the same pace because of the draft. And yes, Swift does have draft. For a step ride, we're actually doing okay with size. There's only 3 of us now, which by next lap, it'll begin to filter a lot. And there's nothing I can do about that. Again, the objective with this ride is to do a step ride. So each lap is harder than the last. And you're accumulating fatigue each lap. What I'll do now into this small next hill, we have 3 in a row, is I will sag climb. That means that I will move towards the front, I will not accelerate into the hill, and then I will gradually fall behind riders as they pass, and use them as a micro draft up the hill, where it saves me maybe 0.1 watts per kilo, but enough to keep me in the middle of the group, not burn any matches, and still stick with pace. Sag climbing. Ready? Watch. So the group's a quarter in front of me. We're going to now hit the hill. Let anyone that wants to accelerate, accelerate. But my job is not to follow the acceleration. See? My job is to fall off the acceleration. If they choose to continue to accelerate, that's their choice. But we got 3 hills in a row here and 2 laps to go. So this is when you don't want to be accelerating. You take the benefit of not having to catch a gap. Remember, if someone goes off at 3.5 right now during a 3 watt per kilo lap, they'll pay. Gotta get on the foghorn. I'm at exactly 3. Again, I have a slight advantage. This is when a dumb trainer or a smart trainer set to less natural road feel has benefit, is that I can control my output much more even. It doesn't mean it's realistic. It means that it's controlling the given power. And for today's ride, that's the goal. Just because you use your trainer one way one day doesn't mean you have to use it that way every day. Does that make sense? I'm going to try to inch towards the front.
and step on their brakes a little bit. That's higher than I want to go. But you have to get the group back together again.
So I'm going to let the gas off, let the riders behind catch, and get ground slow again. See all the yellow coming back into phase? If I was staying at 3 watts per kilo, that would be much harder to get accomplished.
So I'm going to ease up just a little bit, let the yellow come by, and then not get excited. Control.
There you go. You. Gotta tell you, going through towels each day like crazy. I changed 3 times for 100K yesterday. 3. Yes, I sweat a lot. See again, here's the difference from a smart trainer to a dumb trainer. Dumb trainer, unless you purposely do it, you can't spin out. On a smart trainer, right now at minus 8% decline, at 40 miles an hour, you could spin out. Make sense? Again, this is where Zwift calculates gradient, your mass, how much you weigh, and your inertia. The engines they use are impressive. A lot of coding, a lot of math. And it works good. It works. Impressive. So right now, any riders right behind me should be, theoretically, able to throw out less wattage per kilogram to achieve the same speed. That's what you want. And we got good ground slow. Everyone's doing really, really good. Really good. I'm impressed. I debated about to use the pancake flat course here. It's just so boring. Everyone else is doing it every group ride. I wanted something a little more challenging, not because of the hills, but because of the effort control needed. You can see there in the top right corner that big yellow beacon, which is me, and the group as a whole. You see all that? That's tight. That's within the beacon margin. See how the beacon spreads out a little bit? On that? On the top right corner. That tells me that the group is actually very tight, even though here on the screen, it may not seem so.
if I switch views, there's the whole group behind. Makes me dizzy. Switching views. That's the view I like. All right. Let the group come together at the top, and then we can accelerate. And you can see that some of the group's already further up the hill, and that's okay. I'm trying to stick to plan, so within my margins to make sure the rest of the group can hang out together. I don't even know why I have these in. I'm not listening to anything. So I'll leave them there for now. Again, the temptation here is sprint for the line, but we got 2 laps to go, and we're ramping up next lap. And you'll see me at a much lower cadence here. I'm doing that on purpose, because I don't want my heart rate to spike. It's off season, so I try to protect my heart rate a little bit more with more muscular endurance zone level work. And then as the season ramps in, I let that heart rate really begin to sky. I'm gonna let the ground swell happen. That means I'm gonna slow down just a smidge, let the group catch. Some of the people we lose. See my heart rate there, 147, right about where it should be for this wattage for me. That'll be different for you. The more fit you get, in theory and in reality, power number can stay the same as the heart rate number begins to go down. That means you are putting out less physiological effort for the same rate of return, which is the whole goal. We want to spend as little internal energy to get maximum external performance. Pro riders aren't just stronger than us, they utilize their energy very intelligently and exactly the right benefit for them based on the situation given. And you can see top right corner, the group has splintered a little bit, and again, that's expected. As we go over 3 watts per kilo, you'll see some riders filter out, which is how I designed this ride. So for many people, if you hung through lap 3 there, you got a really solid, almost hour-long workout, which is great. Those of us that remain, maybe are a little more seasoned, maybe a little bit stronger right now, or motivated,
and we're challenging just a little higher pace as we move forward. I want to encourage your group. And I'm going to try to get to the front and sit. Pace is a little high, so I'm going to sag just a little bit. Let the beacon drop back. Let the group realize the beacon's dropped back and adjust accordingly. That'll help, see? And the group starts to come back together again. See the beacon there to the right? Here? See how tight that orange grouping is there on the beacon? That's good. Now granted, there's people that are falling off. And if you have fallen off and you're watching the live feed, pick an output that challenges you but doesn't force you to fail. And continue on as long as you feel comfortable. Even if it's an additional 2 or 3 minutes, it makes a big difference. Big difference. It doesn't have to be an hour more. Woo! Need more towels. We're right on target. 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. I like it. See how my heart rate's gone up accordingly? About 6 or 7 beats per lap, up. So next lap, I should be over 160. And depending on what they want to do, I said last lap is basically free-for-all. However hard you want to go. I'll probably try to go 3.5 to 3.75. Maybe a couple 4s in the hills. Again, you can see my cadence is low, 77. Doing that on purpose, as a strength of mine right now is muscular endurance. About a month from now, the majority of my pedaling will be in the 90 plus. Doesn't mean I don't do faster pedaling right now. In fact, if you were watching earlier, first 2 laps I was well over 90, maybe even over 100. But to control my heart rate and still talk to you, I have to gear down. Otherwise I'll get winded and I can't speak. See how the group does together on the hill. Too high. See, I'm going to pay for that. I'm trying to look at too many things at the same time. Three, 2, 5, everyone. 3, 2, 5. So again, if you just came out and did 10 minutes of 3, 2, 5, might not be too bad. But we are now an hour in, so 3, 2, 5 feels different. Because of fatigue, cardiac drift, everything. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done. I'm going to kind of run a minor match here to get closer to the front of the first hill, just so I can slow them down into the second so we can stay closer together. My job is to try to let the middle and back riders have a chance of staying together as a unit. Otherwise, you're playing catch-up all day. Nice. See, I just drifted up to 4, which I would normally not want to do as a rider, but as a group leader, that allows me to get in front of the front end and slow it down. Sucks for me, but it's better for the group, hopefully. Now the list there on the right shows me all the riders in front of me. So I've got small group of riders at about 5 seconds, small group of riders at about 12. That means they're probably sticking exactly to plan, which is what they're supposed to do, doing everything correct. What I'm trying to do is congeal the group. So I'm sacrificing a little bit of power right now to let the group swell before we move into the next hill and the last lap. I would like the last lap to have at least 10 riders. So I'm not going to jam on this hill. See how that's bringing the group back together? See the beacon there on the right? That's what you want. It'll let you know where the group is. Remember, when you started as an event on Zwift with the beacon, the only riders on the list are your riders. That's awesome. If we didn't do it that way, trust me, I have, everyone that's on Zwift that's near you is on the list. And that makes it really tough to stay together unless you're an experienced group that have ridden together again and again. Nice, see? There's a couple more riders coming in. I'll pick my speed back up, slowly. Back to pace. And I got some riders up there that are now 30 seconds above. They're not doing anything wrong. I'm making a choice to keep at least the middle riders together. Like one of the things I've learned over the years that a good group is a group that has a leader that's kind of willing to sacrifice their own agenda to maintain the group's agenda together. And now I can pick it back up. There we go. Now I will work this group back up. About 4 or 5 seconds to the next small group. And we're going a little bit above average now. So I'll try to sag them out again. Well done, everyone. Well done.
get just a little bit ahead. So again, the trick is not to lure other riders into an acceleration. You want to ease past them to control the group. One lap to go at 3.5 or higher. This starts third. Well, great, everyone. One more lap. Check one. All right. I'm going to do my best to go 3.5 to 3.8 until the end. Nicely done. Nice. See, there's my heart rate, 160. About right. I'm going to talk less now. Just focus on my ride and coffee. Doing great. Moving. 40 miles an hour. Breathe. Relax. As much as you can. Squeeze those legs. Nice circles. Use the draft.
as much as you can. Let other riders work for you. Very nice. We're about 3.5, 3.6. Right on target. And motoring. And a decent group for this pace at the end of this big of a ride. Nice. About 3.6 and falling off the base. Come on, guys, I got some guys in here over 60 years old. Motoring. Nicely done. I have a feeling some people don't want to put the hurt on me up the hills. It's okay. I'm used to star fucking. Not that I'm a star. Feel that now. Feels good. That would hurt. Right into those beams. All right, here we go. Damn it. Here we go. Let's see how the group holds. I know they're good. No, they're letting it open. It's all right. We're at 4.
See how well they do over the top. Three stiff climbs in a row, but not easy to sense. Personally, I try to hold back just a little bit on the first one. But the ones who I'd ride however they want, they're doing great. About 4 watts per kilo. Good. Roll them over a little bit. Let the group come back. I'm not here for any win. I'm here for the group. Not a race anyway. Nice, guys. Okay, hill number 2 coming. Nice little micro group, really good group. Very happy. I'll go about 4. These guys are juicing it. Big. Nice. Very well done. Right on target. And one last climb to go. I'm not going to drill it on the descent here. Let those 3 riders catch a little bit. Give them a mouse to chase. There we go. And last climb coming. And then it's over. Yeah, yellow jackets for sure. All right. About 5 watts per kilo. Really nice. Strong group. Gonna featherweight me, huh? He's got me if he wants me. Come on, guys. Pass me now. Come on. There you go. There you go. Come on. Come on around me. Well done. Well done. Whew. Nice. Whew. Keep pedaling if you're still out there. Come on, guys. Nicely done. It's a nice finish. You guys did great. Just awesome. Thank you. Beautiful. I'm toast. Thank you, everyone. Loved it. Really, I'm impressed. It's a hard course to do that kind of ride on. You guys did awesome. Awesome. Looks like my audio has been a little unsynced here, I think, for the live chat, so sorry about that. Yeah, the group, we had at least, 8 or 10 riders congealed for the last lap. Now behind me, could have been many more swelled up together, so thank you. More to come, guys. I do have more rides coming. I'll be doing some privates in Solo TV. If you're not a member, I'd love to have you. Tons of HIIT training workouts with me, core training, back training, yoga. That's just the workout stuff. Podcasts, coaching sequences, training plans for annual members, live events, live feeds. Glad you guys liked it on YouTube as well. I want to cool down, call it a day. I'm exhausted. It's 3 hard rides in a row, so I'm out for a little bit. Maybe a day, 2 days. I had some of the riders finishing well above 5 or 6 watts per kilo. I like the finish here for Richmond.
I like that boom, 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 3 punches, with the last one being just long enough to allow either a puncher or a climber have a chance. That's a Peter Sagan course if I ever saw one, yeah? Jeez. Cancellara, Valverde. You watch the pros. Thanks a lot, everyone on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go take a shower, cool down a little bit, call it a day. It's been awesome, guys. If you got any questions, let me know. I'll do the best I can. And if you're not a member of Solo TV, I'd love to have you in there. It's a whole shitload of other riders just like you, using workouts, asking questions, getting live feeds, coaching. Tons of great stuff. If you haven't joined, you can use the coupon SOLO, SOULO 118 on checkout, and I'll save you some money. Annual is the best way to go because I got a whole bunch of bonuses in there if you're interested. First week again, so I'll see you out on the road or here in Zwift. Have the smile on your face, and always, always drink good beer after. I'll see you later.